Right.
And quite often the rent that they're paying is higher than the mortgage payment that would be paying. But because the rent is so high, they can't get a deposit and so on.
Right.
And
It's
there's
a trap. It's a
yeah,
trap. It's a classic
there's
trap.
there's a number of organizations looking to create cooperatives where they will, underwrite each other, and you get enough of those, then your exposure is quite small. So, say
Mm-hmm.
you've got 100 people with houses, you all underwrite each other.
Mm-hmm.
One goes down, your rent goes, or your mortgage payment goes up a bit.
Mm.
But the benefit is if you go down, someone underwrites you.
Yeah. Right.
So that is a huge untapped area for the deployment of capital
Right.
away from rent seekers to homeowners.
Right. Right. And if you were able to tackle the supply chain of the materials and the labor that went into that home and say, well, why does it even cost that much in the first place? And you can start doing cooperative housing deals where you can bulk buy all the materials and you can
Oh, this is the
um,
interesting thing. And I've got you remember Scott Craig? He's going
yeah,
off to Australia. He's doing a walkabout.
okay.
And so I'm going
You
to
better
lunch
watch
with
the
him
fuck
today.
out, man. People die out there all the time.
He's not literally doing a walkabout. He's doing like a millennial walkabout,
All
uh,
right. Okay.
doing B&Bs, Airbnbs. But
Right.
he's a perfect case in
Um,
point.
I started
Some.
recording while you were talking. Sorry,
Oh
do you
yeah,
want me
yeah,
to
yeah.
stop again?
No, no, not at all, not at all.
Sorry, it sounded like a good idea, and I was like,
Yeah. So uh, his problem is his earning potential is high. He could easily get 90K and so on. I think that's what he's intended to, but he still can't afford a house
mm,
because the multiples, you know, 40 years ago, it was 3.5 times your annual income for a house, and now it's about 12 to 16 times.
mm,
And the LTV, the loan to value, is much higher, so it's like you need 40% cash in hand, and it's like completely out of reach. But
mm.
there's a huge pent up demand for people who want to own their own house and reduce at the same time their monthly outgoings. Um, Now that sounds like something that is cooperative that a bank could do.
Right,
Um,
right, right,
and
right.
uh, Also has the benefit of the this particular target audience is probably more accepting of AI because they're digital natives, all that kind of thing.
Right, yeah,
Um,
and they also are they're desperate. They
yeah,
want they
yeah,
want things to change. They don't want them to stay the same, and they're like, well, fuck, if AI can fix it, it's either that or die. So,
right, right. But the interesting thing is we've been talking about moving into bricks and mortar, and there's no
hmm,
better bricks and mortar than simple houses because
right,
it just
safe as
sits there.
houses.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
And these guys
right.
are
So like
probably the ones that are
a
going to
bank
benefit
that
from
was
AI.
really a highly intelligent bank that was designed to coordinate the resources of its members in a way that they can get access to resources they wouldn't otherwise have, like
Right,
housing.
right. And then the interesting thing is there's the political will around it because certainly in the UK, um, uh, each of the two major parties have all said we need to build 400,000 houses each year. Now they've never managed more than 120,000.
Mm.
Um, uh, Now the reason behind that really comes down into um, the big housing companies being incentivized to actually keep prices going up. But
Yeah,
timber and bricks have not gone up at, you know, 10, 12% year on year for
no,
the last 20 years.
no, absolutely not.
And people's salaries have not done the same. But
Mm.
the outcome. So these guys are making major profits. So there seems to be an opportunity there. Um, because
That could scale a lot.
right, right. And we're not. It's similar to the M&A argument. It's like let's get
Mm.
off digital. And
Let's get as far out of digital as we possibly can.
exactly. And the land is available. The land has been
Mm,
zoned,
mm,
um, but it's just not been built fast enough. But you have um, a large number of very tech savvy people who are earning, 80 to 100,000 a year, who can't afford a home, and they're now getting to the age where they'd rather, have a home, have babies, all that kind of good stuff,
mm.
instead of paying some rent seeker, and you just feel like you're getting your blood drained every month.
Every month, yeah.
So there's um, now caveat. I was just listening to what you're saying there. This is a new idea, or something that's unformed, but there seems to be a confluence of demand, capital through the bank, and the ability to deliver is there because there are plenty of builders,
Mm.
and that
All
can,
right, well let's keep noodling on that because the minimum we would need to be able to go with something like that is uh, to be able to make a simulation, and it would be an expensive and complex simulation where it would model consumers and their behaviors and their flows of money and different fluctuations in the economy, but it would also need a fully working simulation of the bank itself,
mhm,
along with all the regulation. Something that's always fascinated me is that the amount of effort it takes to actually jump through all the administrative hurdles that are genuinely there from the government are always significantly lower than what I always think going into it. And so the concept of
yeah,
actually registering a bank, following all the rules, if you ignore the legal fees and the big fucking compliance hoo-ha that everyone loves to chuck up in your face, is probably a lot simpler than what we both
well,
think.
I went through the documentation that we looked at last time, and that first tier was only $250 or 250 quid,
Mm.
and it's like, really, is that it?
It starts
And
pretty small.
yeah, and the only thing that I think we'll have trouble with, or the only expensive part, is that right and proper person thing.
That's horrible. If we can find fundraising and we can find that person and you can easily get respect. I mean, look at the people that we used to hang out with. Like
Yeah,
it's easy. It's easy to
yeah,
find those people.
yeah, yeah,
So, yeah.
and they're for sale as well.
Absolutely. So if we can make these simulations of these systems, then we can actually have confidence that it'll work, and we can use the simulation as the projections. It's better than a fucking spreadsheet. It's like, well, here's a modeled world,
Right,
and
exactly. If but also if we keep the back office costs down to, like, diddly squat.
diddly
Um,
fucking squat. Yeah.
yeah, we're already in the place of, that tracker fund I was mentioning, which is huge. I still can't remember the name of it, but
Mm,
it's similar to that. It's like, you got a back office of 6 people, and you've got a book of a few billion.
mm.
Um, and now
Yeah, it should be
that's
very small numbers of people,
right,
preferably no people, but
because as a
yeah.
bank you can, borrow from the central bank, and so liquidity is
Mm,
not a problem.
mm,
You borrow that and they make their own judgment, fine, and then you can uplift it by 40%.
mm,
Is the rule of it, and then suddenly you've just generated 40% more capital out of nothing,
mm,
and then you lend it to a whole bunch of people who simply can't get, houses, but have the cash to pay for them.
mm.
Um, it's worth noodling. I'm not suggesting going down that thing, but this is following on from your conversation with the bank. I've been thinking about quite a lot.
Dude, I know, call me fucking bonkers, but I've wanted a bank for a long time. It would just be such a great thing to have. It'd
just
be
just
such a great thing.
just promise me this: if we ever get a bank, we never have one of those expensive offices with marble and someone pissy at the front desk as a people greeter. Yeah.
We will have no building whatsoever. At best, we may have a bunch of GPUs sitting somewhere
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
best, but we will never have any staff. We will never have any buildings, any tellers. We will be internet native.
Yeah. I think let's. My view is, I've been trying to do the Angry Scotsman thing on your proposal, and I haven't seen a blocker yet for it. Um, I think we keep thinking about this and keep talking about it.
Yeah, it
We've
seems. It seems. Yeah. Yep.
yeah, we've got a principal thing to get done
Yep.
to bootstrap up.
Yep.
So we shouldn't distract from that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, this doesn't. But we gotta be imagining that this thing will take off like like a bushfire, like a forest fire, and we need to have a fucking plan
yeah,
for what we're going to do about that, because I think that the system, the way we're talking about making it, can open up worlds to a lot of people, to us and a lot of people, and we got to pick where we want to. I think very quickly we will make enough money to sustain ourselves and our families. We can then, we need to be very judicious where we apply our time after that, and
yeah,
doing something like, yeah, we're going to make this bank is one such thing. Like, once all our basic needs are met, it's like, well, we could either just frivolously go around the world doing fucking aimless shit that's cool, or we could sink down and do something fucking decent.
yeah. And I'm looking forward to the point where we hire someone to look after Dreamcatcher.
Mm.
Um, yeah, we can move on to the next.
Mm.
Okay,
All
well, I
right.
need to go.
Me too.
Fine.
I'll thank you very much for the talk. I will
Yeah,
be in
see
touch. I'll see you later.
see you next time. See you
Okay.
then.